Welcome back to the Mindset series. I'm Dr. Veena, and today I'm joined by this season's only choreographer and creative force of nature, if I can call him that. We are joined by someone who has won millions of hearts, not just with his unique talent and skill and the love for the art of dance. He's performed in multiple music videos, choreographed on movie sets, set several creative platforms literally ablaze with his skill, alongside training young people regularly through his Krrish Academy. He's worked in the past in the corporate world as an actuarial analyst and now works as an enterprise resource planning systems manager. If this wasn't enough, he's got an amazing personality, a kind heart, and has been a great friend. So I would love to welcome a dear friend and brother, Krrish Siva, or as all of you know him, Krrish Siva, to the Mindset.
How are you, Veena?
I'm good, welcome.
That was a very kind bio. Maybe too much, but...
No, not at all. Welcome. How are you today?
I'm not too bad. How are you?
Really excited to have you here.
Yeah.
I remember when I wanted you to come on here, I said to you, everyone has seen you move, everyone has seen you dance. I don't think enough people have heard you speak.
Yeah, it's true.
I feel like we're going to change that today.
Hopefully, yeah. Maybe if I don't go mime for a second.
If we don't go mime, we'll get people to tune into the video version of this. So if you want to cut shapes for us.
That's it, we're good. That's sorted.
So we'll get straight into it, Krrish.
Yeah.
Tell us, when did you start dancing?
Oh, see, that's a difficult question. Whenever my mom shows me little videos of me when I was 2, I was always, back on the sofa just vibing on my own, or whether it is, I think officially I would say probably around 7 years old.
Okay.
That was when I sort of, from a childhood, there's been discipline in my house, and that was wake up, breathe, meditate, yoga, and that's it. I've been doing that till today.
As a child?
As a child. I would say probably around 6 years old was when we started doing it. We didn't know why we were doing it. South Asian households. But we did it. And from there, it was a thing where my dad, played some flute music and be like, yeah, run to that corner, do a yoga move. Run to this corner, do a yoga move.
A yoga move?
Yeah, as in just a yoga, like a cobra or a bridge or something like that. And that was my first initial introduction to dance. So it was actually my dad.
I never knew this.
Yeah, and then we did this showcase in, I think it was year 2. We're going back now. And that was my impression of dance. I mean, it's not official dance, but that's when I started dancing.
Movement and interpretation.
Yeah,
wow,
yeah.
That actually explains why you're a very calm person.
Maybe.
From age 5, you've been doing yoga every morning. That explains a lot. Okay, so sounds like it was a part of your household. It was part of day-to-day life. When did you know you wanted more from it?
I think it was more after university. There was always opportunities, presenting itself. And how we looked at those opportunities were more, because I was 16 years old and these crazy opportunities were coming up to me. The scene was not set, especially within the Tamil scene. It was not very predominantly dance. Yeah. So for me, it was all very fresh, but I was just, I was in the middle of doing my A-levels. I was, we have that pressure to, achieve really high. So dance is on the side. But it was after university where I thought to myself, what can I do if, the response is like this? What can I do to, increase the streams of how we can inspire people, or how we can create the younger generation, or inspire them to do better, Yeah. And if you see the scene now, it's incredible. What I did at 16 is nothing compared to what these guys are doing at 16. And I'm not saying I was a part of that, but it's amazing to see, that some of those goals are being achieved.
When did you know you had talent?
See, I don't think I have that much talent. What I do think is I work hard on things I think I'm okay at. And then from there, I get good at it. But talent is, I think, something that's you have inert in you.
Absolutely.
And you work on it, whatever it is. I know a million dancers, 100 times more talented than I am. I think it's just knowing that I enjoy dance.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the question. I knew I enjoyed dance from a childhood.
Yeah.
Ever since I started doing yoga, right?
But it started with yoga.
It started with yoga. But I think, it started from there. And then I never looked at it as a business. I never looked at it as work. It's always been something I enjoy. So I think that's the difference. And whether I'm good at it or not, I think I just know where I'm good and where I'm bad. I just know my strengths and my weaknesses. So
okay, let me rephrase that. So you're performing and everyone around you is kind of giving you accolades, saying all these positive things about how you inspire them. And you watch your videos back and obviously you want to keep getting better. So that inert feeling of, okay, do you know what? There is something there. Was there a moment, or was it a more general kind of transition?
So I think, see, I place my parents really high, highly. So it's Mata Pita Guru Devam. That's how I look at it. And that transition from when they went from not being too supportive, especially in the initial stages, to then being very supportive, was when I thought, okay, if my mum and dad, out of all people, can say you're good at this,
Yeah.
that's when I start to think of it. I don't think I was brought up being told, you're very good at dance, darling, great, good job, now you can be a dancer, it was never like that.
Yeah.
So I think when that happened, that transition happened, was when I thought to myself, okay, I have that confidence. I want to, push forward with it. I don't take, I always take compliments and criticism with a pinch of salt.
Absolutely.
But I don't know, there's a natural soft spot for the parents. So when they sort of started supporting, that naturally sort of gave me a bit more confidence as well, I think.
What do you think made them transition?
I think it's more, I was able to do what they wanted as well, which was, get a job,
Yes.
support the family,
Yeah.
and take care of my responsibilities. And once that happened, and they found, dance is actually helping with that as well.
What
No.
a good son. Everyone's probably listening to this saying, I want my son to be like that. That's amazing. No, that's actually amazing. And you've been doing it for quite a few years now. Do you have a set process, or is that still evolving?
In regards to the
Your creative process?
See, I think creative process, a lot of people put a lot of pressure onto that.
Yeah.
And once you do, and this is why I haven't taken the leap to maybe take this full time. And the reason is because once it feels like a job, once you apply that pressure, whether you're going to be as creative, whether you're going to enjoy the process, is a big thing. I think enjoying the process is what makes your brain go alive, and being inspired by the things around you, being inspired by your friends, your family, that is what excites me. That is what gives me these ideas. And then you end up getting these blocks here and there. If it was a job, this is where you get that repetition. You get those moments where your creative tap runs dry and you're unable to continue with that process. And I think me having that balance, that work-life balance, some people call it work after work, but I think it's work-life balance. I enjoy it that much.
Yeah, because I think it drives you more, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and you're right, actually, because I remember back when I was dancing a lot more regularly, there was a couple of weeks where I was dancing 6 or 7 days, and it just started becoming like work. It felt like work, and we were at a social party, and someone was like, oh, come on, just get in the middle and dance. Yeah. And I was like, it's my day off. Yeah. I don't want to dance. So I know what you mean, and it's interesting to think that you also felt that. You mentioned creative blocks. I'm sure a lot of people listening in would want to know, whether they're starting out or very experienced, when that happens, how can you overcome that?
So obviously I can't speak for everyone, but the way I would deal with it, or usually, is I take a break. And I take a good break. I'm not saying just a couple of hours. I take a break away from that piece of work. For example, sometimes you're even creating, and the creative block actually happens on the editing table.
Interesting.
So you could create a piece, and then especially when you're being a bit, you're exaggerating with VFX or whatever, playing around with whatever you want to do, the creative block happens there when you think to yourself, okay, this is not exactly how I envisioned this, and it just doesn't look great. I don't know what to do to make this look good. Creative block. Sometimes it just comes at the most random times.
You're saying this, but I've seen your videos and you've made yourself fly, jump through the sky, through the clouds.
Right.
So I'm picturing you looking at a screen thinking, okay, I'm flying, but actually I wanted to be underwater.
No, but there are not necessarily those videos.
I know.
We're going a bit wacky with those videos, but sometimes it is a process where you look at it and you think, okay, I need a bit of a break from this, work on something else, come back. It's always good. Take a breather, come back from it. And it's the idea of forcing it. People, this whole nature of, and this implementation of the algorithm into social media, people, creatives feeling that they have to release something every single day, that applies to the pressure.
Yep.
You go dry, you run out of ideas, and that's where it happens. So I think don't apply that pressure to yourself. Take a break, come back, knowing that, okay, this wasn't exactly what I wanted.
Yeah.
Then it happens. I think taking breaks, be inspired by the people around you, and not applying that pressure. You'll be surprised what your brain can do.
Yeah, it's interesting. I had a guest recently. We were talking about intrinsic and extrinsic pressures. As a creator yourself, what do you feel more pushed by?
So you mean pushed positively, or in terms of?
Anything that kind of forces you to do more. Is it your own expectation of yourself, or is it you see someone else doing things, or the world telling you when's the next video?
Yeah, I think comparison, first of all, is something that is a huge problem for all of us.
It's a killer of joy.
Yeah, there you go. And I think it's taking the positives, always adding a positive spin to all of these things. So we look at comparison, we think to yourself, okay, these people are releasing on a regular basis. Can I do that? I can, but can I do it to the standard that I want to release it at? That's a doubt, you know?
Yeah.
And we need to sort of find that fine balance. I think it is a fine balance. And I know that the pieces I want to create, I will look back at when I'm an old tata, you know, looking back on my phone, like, you guys, you know, when I was a young boy, this is what I used to do. But will I be as proud if I was just releasing, you know, trends every day? Like, I have nothing against that at all.
Yeah.
But I think it's just not my, you know, where I want to see my creativity go. So it is a matter of looking at that, and the real push comes from the support, the positivity, and the kindness. Honestly, I'm always grateful, because as I told you, I genuinely don't believe that this is like unknown talent. Like there are millions of talented dancers, and I am just so grateful that I can share this. I mean, I get this love, and it's just been amazing, and I'm always grateful, and I think that is a main driving force.
Yeah, but I also think, you know, credit's due where it's due. You put the hours in to work on the talent, to take it to the next level. And I think that's where a lot of appreciation comes from as well, because it's hours editing, Krrish, right? It's hours editing, it's hours, I don't know if it's hours choreographing anymore, but the execution, the final product is obviously not what it started from.
Yeah,
so I think,
100%.
you know, absolutely, and you've gotten so much better over the years.
Yeah.
So I think that's actually really good.
And I have to thank my team, of course. Like, having a supportive team, having a supportive friend group, friendship circle, is always very helpful when it comes to these things. And it's not one day when the support stops, doesn't mean I'm going to necessarily stop, because I want to always push myself, you know, and see what I can do. And that drive is always going to be there. So I think multiple ways of, you know, being driven is always important. Otherwise, it's very easy to just
absolutely burn out, isn't it? Yeah, that's really interesting. Because you're talking about support, and that's really positive, let's talk about negatives, right? I know recently you posted a screenshot of a TikTok video of yours where somebody posted some negative, I think it was almost colorist, racist comments, right? They were horrible.
Yeah.
Do you get that often, or was that just a one-off?
So I wouldn't say often. See, this is another thing about me. I don't really take those into consideration too much. I'm sure when I saw it, it was under most of the videos, you know? So it is one of those things where I think we need to look at these things not necessarily in a, you know, a judgmental way or label what these people are doing, but more so it should sort of cultivate curiosity. You should look at it with an open mind and think to yourself, okay, why is this person commenting like this? Can I actually put a positive spin on this? Can I take this criticism and work on it? If not, then you think to yourself, is there really any reason for this to have any space in my mind when there are beautiful comments out there, supportive comments? Why am I taking this into consideration? I actually worry for the people that actually spend their day sending hateful comments.
Just being trolls,
I think you need to acknowledge whether it's criticism or
exactly. I was going to say, because I don't think that was criticism on your craft. It was it was about talking about people's appearance and skin color. I think that comes from a deep-rooted place of hate or unhappiness or whatever that might be. You're right. And I think you may have had the maturity and growth to be at a place where you have that open heart to feel like that. But say someone's quite young and new on the scene, and they put a first video out and they get these kind of comments, really harsh comments, right? What would you say to them?
I think you do need to take positive comments and negative comments with a pinch of salt. But at the same time, when you first post something, just look at it as an opportunity to grow. Whatever it is. And I know it's difficult because we as humans are emotional beings. Any sort of comment can trigger us. And I'm not going to pretend like I don't get butthurt by some of these comments. There are some comments I just think to myself, why? But I find myself thinking, what exactly in that comment is triggering in me? So this is sort of you need to think about your inner emotions.
Self-awareness.
Yeah, self-awareness. And what is it that's triggering me? Work on that. And then I think you'll find a time and a place to disengage from all of that. And just know the storm will pass. You just need to keep working on your craft. And I would say more than being upset, use it as a driving force. Be like, okay, this person said this. Let's try again with the next video. Let's try again with the next video. It's never perfect the first time around. And once a door opens, take the door. If it closes, take the other door. Keep going. I think that the worst thing to do is look at someone's comment and think, okay, that's it. That's what everyone thinks, you know? because 100% that's not the case.
Yeah, and I think a lot of, not even young people, everyone kind of struggles with confidence, struggles with some element of imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
And I'm sure when people just maybe watch your work, obviously on the screen you look so confident, so sure of yourself. Is that who Krrish is behind the scenes?
No, I am not that person at all. And I think, yeah, as you would probably know that as well, I think when I first meet someone, I'm very uncomfortable. Very shy. I speak very few words. And even when I know the person a lot, I am a person of very few words. And I think I'm more of an observer, a listener. And that's not to say that I don't want to speak to my friends. It's just how I am. I prefer to listen, observe, and then speak very few words, but have thought about it for a long time.
Okay.
And I think sometimes when you are so involved and communicate a lot with your friends, sometimes we speak out of emotion, we say things we don't mean. You need someone that has their wits about them at all times. You know, a bit of a bird's eye view, even though they're friends. And I think I tend to be that person. I am not I don't go around dancing with girls on a daily basis. You know? That's just I don't. You know, I get these comments. You should see some
randomly went off on a tangent.
Honestly,
who said you go around dancing with girls on a daily basis?
You should see my comments. I'll show you later.
Okay, fine.
Honestly, but I think it's making sure that you don't get caught up with this identity that you are when you're.
Oh, interesting. Okay, fine. In terms of confidence and what you're doing.
People get caught up with this idea that, you know, we have followers. You have to think about what are you when those followers are not there.
Yeah. And as in numbers are infinite. We can't chase numbers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think that's one thing I try to keep separate my identity as a creative. And I think when I go on stage, I feel like a change. I would change as a character. I get into character. And then as soon as I'm out.
Yeah.
I will go quiet.
I have witnessed that in person. He'll be standing next to us on stage, quiet. I can't even hear you breathe. And then as soon as the music comes on, he's doing backflips. His glasses are flying through the air, and we're like, what just happened? But that's actually a skill in itself. And it's honestly, if you haven't seen him perform live, it's actually magic. So I think you are very gifted, and I think your parents are right. You're doing a great job. You know, we talked about confidence in young people. If there was, say, a young person starting just to dance or sing or put their creative self out there, what tips could you give them for when you think back to your journey to build confidence?
I would say the first thing is acknowledge why you're doing it. Is it purely because of interest? You want to try it out? Are you looking for popularity? There are so many different reasons to why people want to start dancing or start singing. And I think you need to understand whether this route that you're taking aligns with the goal you're setting. If you are just looking for popularity, there are a million other ways you can get popularity, and much easier ways. So if you are doing this to express, or because you want to show your creativity to the world, then I would say the first thing you do is there are materials out there now that when I was younger was never available. YouTube is immense. Classes are
on
crazy. On everything. You can literally most of the editing that I've done in recent times has been what I learned through a lockdown period. I sat down, downloaded a piece of software, and just played around. And I think that's the beauty of what we have right now. There's so many negatives with what we, the exposure that people are, facing. But at the same time, it's, I think you just need to take that leap. Take that leap. Don't take into consideration too much about the comments. See if you can acknowledge whether it's a critique or a compliment, and work forward. Don't expect to be the best straight away.
Yeah, and I think confidence it's like a muscle. You build it, you work on it, right? As with most things.
Yeah.
We talked about opportunities and doors opening. Can you think of one opportunity that came out of nowhere and just kind of blew you away for yourself?
Yeah, I think, again, I'm going to refer back to 16 years old. I was 16, doing my A-levels. As you do, trying to get my A stars, as you do as well. But it was actually ITV sent me an email. I remember I just came off of MSN or something like that. And they sent me an email and they're like, we're this person and we're scouting for people to take part in Britain's Got Talent. And I was like, this is some fake scamming email. Then I got calls, and then I had a manager at that point with the dance group, and that was a legit thing, and we spoke about it. I never wanted to be on TV, as I told you. I am not that guy. And this was the period of time where I just didn't smile in front of the camera or anything like that.
Oh, right,
So
okay.
it was a tough time, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, so they got in touch and they were like, okay, can you come into Britain's Got Talent? There are usually around 3 stages before the main auditions. And they were like, we'll skip all of that. You just need to take part. I think the one weird criteria was you seem to be of an Asian background. I think Birmingham would be a good spot for you to
Okay.
we'll see, take that as you
Yeah,
want to take that. But,
the ethnic quota was filled. Okay.
ITV don't cancel me.
Okay.
But yeah, so we did that, did the auditions, and I think from there it just was absolutely crazy. From 16 to 18, I wasn't very much in the Tamil scene.
Okay.
It was very much, hip hop, street.
Interesting, okay.
Yeah, so then we got, Adidas got in touch with us after we won a competition at the Paralympic Games.
Yeah.
And they sponsored us for a year, our dance troupe. We then were sent off to Rio de Janeiro.
Wow.
We filmed a film which was directed by BAFTA-winning director Adam Deacon. This all happened within a year and a half. Bear in mind, I'm still doing my A-levels.
You finished your A-levels, yeah?
No, I was still doing them.
Okay, but afterwards you did finish them.
Oh, yeah. I did.
Obviously.
Yeah, guys, I got my degree. I'm working now. Yeah, it was definitely a lot happening at that point. I didn't know how to appreciate it then. I was more of like the spokesperson within the group and ensuring that, I don't know how to deal with the money side of things. I don't know how to deal with anything. For me, it was just enjoyment.
Yeah.
And this was where the parents' worries started happening.
Yeah.
There was a lot happening. Exams were like 2 months away.
Yeah.
I would take my chemistry books with me and just be reading them on the flight. And
Wow.
It was interesting, but I think that was when opportunities and I think about how I would deal with those opportunities now very differently.
How so?
I would have taken advantage of the opportunity a lot more. And worked with it. And in terms of funding, I would have, not let some kind of exploitation happen.
No, so it's interesting you say that
Yeah.
because I'm sure any creative listening in can relate where you get approached by very, very big brands with big budgets, deep pockets, saying things like, would you like to do this for the word exposure?
Yeah.
So this is something we should talk about. How do you feel about that happening even today? And we're talking not just adverts and brands, but movies and music videos and artists and singers. I've had them reach out to me, so I'm sure they've reached out to you. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is one of the banes of being a creative.
Yeah.
It really is. And unfortunately, I still see it happen today, especially with the younger set. They're not aware that, they are being taken advantage of.
Yeah.
If they've got a talent to show, if they are requesting you to perform, there should be some form of payment for your hard work, and people assume that dance is just a 2-minute piece that you perform on stage, but you are working your whole life
For that 2-minute piece. Exactly. Yeah.
And I think that is the misconception that a lot of people have. And I think it's just more direct for the younger set as well, because I feel like if you just accept performances for free, this actually affects creatives of, above you as well. So, I mean, I have so much to say. I could say this for an hour, but I think it continues. It needs to stop. There needs to be a lot more awareness regarding that. And I think just appreciate the hard work that these people are putting in for your piece.
I think trust in your talent as well, right?
Yeah.
The fact that they've reached out to you, I think that in itself is a starting ground for you to negotiate your terms.
Yeah.
If you're not experienced, maybe reach out to someone more experienced, right? And then start with at least cover our expenses, overheads, or something like a day rate, hour rate. Those are the things I think they should be talking. That language should be used so people don't take advantage and just say you'll meet someone or take a selfie with someone. That's not
100%,
enough
100%.
for your
I think
work.
this is the thing. The biggest pull is this is associated to a big celebrity. Please come. It's a good exposure, but you really need to set your priorities there and then. But yeah, we'll see how it goes.
We'll see how it goes. Okay. But yeah, no, that's quite a big one. As a dancer, we're using your body, you're using your face, your emotions, about how you feel. What's your view on body positivity for men?
Ooh, a deep topic. So I have always, as I told you, from a childhood, have a father who has told me, take care of your body. When you get older, it's not going to be the same, okay? And I'm just like, okay, I don't understand what this is. But the older I get, and especially when you're exposed to the internet, when you put your videos out there, it's not even body exposure, it's just how your face looks, your features, your you know, are you big enough? Are your arms too skinny? Are your arms too big? These comments, and I say I don't take them into
No, but
consideration.
people, right?
Yeah, these things will come up,
Stop.
right? These things come up, and I think as men we are always aware of this, because at the end of the day you're touching on insecurities, you're touching on issues that we might be not be comfortable in.
Yeah.
But again, it's a point of, you look at it and you shouldn't let that set limitations and boundaries to how you perform. Just, okay, this person said this, that means I shouldn't show this part of my face. Or
Yeah.
you should never let it be like that, because I think they themselves are reflecting their insecurities and issues.
Yeah.
And the best thing to do is just not adopt that, and just sort of be able to filter out those negative comments and be able to just push forward. But I think it is something that affects a lot of people. I, thankfully, for the over the few years, I've gained confidence, but that has been a process.
Yeah.
That has been a process, and I think when I was younger, especially, I just didn't know how to respond to these sort of comments, and anything that touches. This is again what I brought upon earlier on in this conversation. It's, we need to understand what it is about this comment that
It's
triggers
triggering
us.
us. Yeah.
So it is some form of insecurity that we're aware of, and we just need to, work around it. Self-awareness.
No, it's true. But just because we have a platform doesn't give people the right to just say whatever they want
Yeah,
as well,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I think a lot of women talk about this a lot, where men feel like they have a right to say what their bodies should look like. But I don't think people realize men are also on the receiving end of a lot of this.
Yeah,
And I don't think enough of them talk about it. Exactly what you said. I was actually surprised that you get comments like that. Because I know you're strong enough, but imagine if someone wasn't. That's like the gateway to then having anxiety and depression and all these other problems, right?
Yeah.
Or insecurities in your relationship and things like that. So I think we should talk more about this. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah,
That's
for
actually really, really good. Have you personally, when you look back at your trajectory of your creative process, can think of any challenges that you faced that really shaped you?
I would say we've obviously, a lot of the things we've spoken about are part and parcel of that challenge, that process. I think the biggest process is, or the biggest challenge was definitely family. I would say family. I would say the community I'm part of.
Yeah.
And which is really interesting, because they are the most supportive, beautiful community. The Tamil community, I'm telling
So
you.
South Asian community is a
Yeah.
whole world
Yeah.
of South Asians.
Yeah.
And within South Asians, there
Yeah.
is the Tamil community.
I'm very particular about
Okay,
that.
fine.
And the reason I say this is because I know, friends from different parts. They could be from the Telugu industry or whatever. The support is different.
I agree.
It is absolutely different. But if they want to take you down, you're
You're
out.
finished.
You are out. You be careful about what you say, because getting involved in internal politics is a dangerous game. But at the same time, I think actually within families, I think it's a big thing. The phrase I would say, what would this person think? What would that person think? Is so common within South Asian communities as well. And I think that has added pressure for children and young people, because they're always perceived by others in a way where, their demonstration of behavior is seen as being reflective of the way they were brought up.
Yes.
And that has always meant, okay, you need to become a doctor, you need to do this, you need to do that, you can't do this. Make sure, you don't raise your voice to this auntie, don't raise your voice to the auntie. And this almost, okay, we understand, we get into the stage where we do as we're told, but we don't talk about how we feel.
Yeah.
And again, that leads on to another problem. It's just communication. I think me and my parents, we communicate a lot better now. But that's because a lot of the dynamics have changed. It's flipped around.
Yeah.
But when I was younger, they are the most amazing parents. I'm saying this right now. Amazing parents. But with communication, I think that was something I lacked back then. I couldn't talk about how I felt. And that was the same with dance. Whenever they made comments about this and that, especially when it meant a lot to me, I couldn't speak about it. And I think being able to communicate creates that healthy, loving environment. And I'm not saying communication is the only thing that constitutes to that environment, but I think you need love, you need care, a safe environment, peace. But I think just overcoming that was definitely the biggest hurdle for me. Again, it's different for me because I put my parents really high up.
Yeah.
So for some people, that's, it will be something completely different. But in my case, that was the biggest challenge. And honestly, more than the comments I get online, it's just the comments I get from my mom and dad. That's the biggest thing. They don't see it every day, but
I'm
when
sure
do.
they do. They might not
When
say
they
it to
do.
you. They might be showing it to their aunties and
Right, yeah, you see
other
on the
people
WhatsApp
on the
family
WhatsApp
chats, yeah.
status. I had Kelechi here as a guest once, and he said, if you're on your auntie's WhatsApp status, you know you've made it
Yeah,
in.
yeah. Honestly, I know when they liked a video, yeah.
Has family always been so important to you?
Yeah, 100%. At least my close knit mum, dad, and my little sister, they are everything to me. And I would say my whole life, which is good and bad, has revolved around them. I've made decisions in life. If I have to take responsibilities, do I move out or do I come back in? And I need to take care of this and take care of that. So, it's always revolved around them. But I think, despite that, I think we've actually just gone closer and closer. I wouldn't necessarily say that I was very close to them in the beginning.
Yeah.
It's just something that's the dynamics change.
Gradually, isn't it? I think most people observe that. And now there's so much information and knowledge out there because I think we have to respect our parents did the best with what they knew and what,
100%.
we can't really.
100%.
But now when we look back, like you said, we did a lot of things, but did anyone ask us if we were okay? No one did. But at least now we open that dialogue and they'll actually tell you, I don't want to do that and I don't want to do this. And they're learning new things as well. So it's actually quite an exciting time. To be able to share all of that with them as well.
Yeah, 100% agree.
Yeah,
100%
amazing.
Agree.
So in terms of dance, right? Tell me about a dance style that you've not tried, but you're excited to try.
Oh, guys, Veena makes me try every style. A style that I have not tried. See, this is the thing. I feel like I'm always learning.
Yeah.
And I'm even in a style that I'm good at, there is always something to learn.
Yeah, always.
Every single day. And I think once we stop that, that's when we become stagnant. We can't push our boundaries so that's another answer for the creative block. But I think I'm always learning. In terms of a style, put me on the spot. I don't know. I would really love to actually properly try contemporary. I did it a bit.
Yeah.
I did one with you as well, but that was me struggling, guys. I was really struggling. And it was blindfolded.
Oh, yeah, we were blindfolded. That doesn't help.
Yeah, so... but
I remember our eyes were closed. I was like, are you doing the lines? Are you holding the hand? You're like, yeah, I'm doing it. And I watched them. You were not doing it.
Guys, Veena, you need to run into my arms or you're just going to jump into like thin air. But,
good times, yeah.
Yeah, it was really good times. But I think contemporary is definitely a style I want to really try out because I think it's such an expressive and a beautiful style of dance, So, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's really good. Because we've talked so much about creating young people, body positivity, pressure, all of this, it all comes down to the internet and the day and age we're at today, right? And even with health, when we look at health, when we look at all the content that's being put out in terms of health, we talk about how you can have impact at scale when we put information out on the internet. What does that look like for you in terms of the work you're doing? If I say impact at scale.
You mean in terms of like the kind of influence that you have or?
With the work that you're doing.
It's the idea of seeing dance as not just a medium to post videos or a style. How can I word this properly? This is a deep question. The real idea is to inspire people to push boundaries. Dance does not just need to be dance. It's a style that you can incorporate in different aspects. And I think a lot of people just want to be involved in dance, are super creative, they're massive directors and they're so amazing at camera work, but they just don't want to delve into dance because they're like, I can't move my feet like that.
Yeah.
You know what, the expression, just the way you move your hands, even the way we're doing this is a dance. It's how you look at it. And I think there's 8 billion people on this planet. Each person has their own perspective. I'm sure half of that think of dance as something completely different to you.
Yeah.
There's so many unique sources of perspective, and I think the real goal is to ensure that the impact is push your boundaries. I hope people see me flying off a building and think either they think what the hell is he doing, or they think, okay, you know what, he's flying off buildings, so I can try and push the boundaries. I'm so excited, and I'm already seeing it as well, just how people just go bonkers with ideas.
Yeah.
And it's really exciting to see. Exciting to see. I think that's the only way we can grow, and you actually see these little actors and actresses coming out.
They're coming out. Oh, that was actually a really, really good answer. So thank you.
Yeah.
Because you talked about balance, and we were talking about health just a second ago. What does balance look like to Krrish?
Balance is still underworks. It has been underworks ever since I was a young kid, and I think in this case, I think people sometimes say business and, you know, whatever, working in the corporate world, it shouldn't be personal. It should be objective. But I don't agree with that, because at the end of the day, like I said, we as humans are emotional
Absolutely.
people. But there's a saying in Tamil, and it goes "Tamare ilai tannir pol." So it's like a water droplet on a lotus leaf. Stay attached but unattached. So otti ottamal. So that I apply to many approaches of my life. I take that approach to many parts of my life, and because that is the only way you can, I genuinely feel helps with me and my organization, is not be too involved with one thing or the other. You need to have a balance. You need to know when to disengage and then switch. For example, I know I'm having a really hard day in the office, but I know in the afternoon I'm teaching my little ones and it's going to be great, you know?
Yeah.
Or these little ones are giving me a headache. I've been standing up for too long. I can't wait to sit down in the office, you know? So it's they work antagonistically, and I think that for me has been my goal for balance.
Yeah.
It's being attached but detached. And I apply this with friendships as well, as you know. Like it's something I think is very important. It keeps the wits about you. And yeah, otherwise balance is very difficult. We're still working on it. I'm on my first footstep into identifying
You'd be
that.
surprised how many people say that sitting here,
Yeah,
actually.
yeah.
Everyone's still finding what works for them and how to evolve it, because it's not a set formula.
It's not.
Yeah, so that's actually quite good. Has there ever been a time where you've looked at one of your pieces and had any kind of regret?
Oh yeah. All the time. But the one thing I don't do is just archive them.
Okay.
Or just like delete them. For me, there needs to be a clear understanding of whether there has been improvement, whether there hasn't. But certain times, like when you collaborate and the piece doesn't come the way you want it, or the process wasn't enjoyable, there are times you think about it and you regret. But I say this again, why is it in your headspace? Why are you letting it, like, you know, either take it as a positive and go forward, or there are so many things to learn from it. And I think that's the best way to look at anything. I look at pieces and I'm like, that was horrible. I'm never going to do that again. And I know I'm not going to do that again. But sometimes, like, just again, you wake up one day and you're like, that was a beautiful piece. You know? I love the process. So it's perspective. It changes all the time. But I think, yeah, that's how I would.
Spoken like a true artist. You know what you were saying about being attached, but being unattached at the same time. It's interesting because studies have shown that high-functioning people, that's how they actually cope with a lot of high-stress environments, by compartmentalizing.
Okay.
So when you're doing one task, you're completely focused on that task and you don't let anything else kind of penetrate. And then it's the same thing. That's how you get through the day, by not allowing things to seep over. So it's interesting you say that, actually.
Yeah, that's interesting, yeah.
But no, thank you so much, Krrish.
No
how was that? Was that okay? Are you still breathing? You okay?
I'm breathing. I was very nervous before starting this, but that was actually very comfortable. This is
I think you've come into your own now.
Yeah,
so now we're gonna ease you into our rapid fire.
Okay, rapid fire.
Okay. So as the name suggests, quick answers, no thinking too much. Whatever comes to your mind first.
I'll give it a go.
Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Favorite Tamil music composer?
Ooh, A.R. Rahman.
Yes. Favorite Hindi song?
Oh, is it Tujh Mein Rab Dikhta Hai?
Oh, that was really good. Okay. Your favorite piece of work?
See, I tell you, I wake up one day and I find another piece. There's a piece I did with a dancer from Singapore, Aishwarya.
Yes.
It's called Mehabuba. I really like that.
I really like that one. The one inside an apartment.
That's right,
yes, that's really nice. The nicest compliment you've ever heard?
I like being around you.
Stop. That's really sweet.
Yeah, it's nice.
Was it your mum?
Yeah.
No, I'm joking. I'm playing with you. That was actually really sweet. If you could choreograph one song in Indian cinema, what song would you want to do?
I'm just anything that will give me a challenge.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I feel like something completely that we wouldn't expect, isn't it? You would
Yeah,
take it on
yeah.
and you'd be like, I want to like
something
test
to
myself
just-
with that
yeah,
one. I can see that
exactly,
actually manifesting this for you. What would make you pursue arts full time?
Stability, financial stability from dance. I think right now there is a lot of responsibilities in my life that I can't rely on dance as such. And also, if I get to the stage where I'm constantly creatively challenged, if it becomes just a job where I'm doing the same thing again and again, I don't think I'll take it.
Yeah.
Because it works so well for me as a balance, because I enjoy it so much. So
That's actually beautifully said.
Yeah.
And you're right, because financial pressures are a huge pressure on every individual. And if that pressure's off, you can actually enjoy it a lot more.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't think it's fair to put it otherwise. One thing about Krrish that no one knows.
that no one knows. There's probably a reason none of you know. One thing that, oh my God. My granddad was the mayor of Jaffna in Sri Lanka.
Stop.
Yeah, so we're actually from a political family.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah.
That explains why you enjoy peace so much. Okay. For all the ladies out there, the way to Krishna's heart is...
Oh, no. Need to be careful how I answer this. I'm just going to say good food.
Good food. He's like the way everyone's going to like send you food to your house now. If you could have dinner with one person, who would it be and why?
Rajinikanth, because I'm a fan of Rajinikanth.
Yes, that would be a good dinner actually.
You know,
oh my God.
Wisdom.
He would have so much wisdom. Oh my
yeah.
goodness. If you could spend longer on your skincare or hair, what would you spend it on?
I probably need to take, more time on both. But, hair is important.
Hair is important.
Yeah, hair is important. Hair is important.
For all of you who are not getting visual right now, Krishna has ample volume of hair on his head. Every girl's jealous part. Okay, one style of dance that you think you are the worst at.
Ooh.
Of all the things you've tried.
I would say contemporary.
I don't think it's the worst, but okay, fine, fair. And what do you think is your strongest point?
Whatever my style is. Whatever that is.
Have you got a name for it?
No, I just call it crystal.
Crystal. Okay, fine. And the last one, when is your next cover coming out?
This is me trying to work my life and my balance out. But hopefully next week.
Okay.
We've got a couple of exciting things that are outside of the dance cover world.
Okay.
But fingers crossed these.
Nice. How exciting. Yeah. And I think it's you know what, this conversation has been so nice, Krish, to like see you even open up on so many levels. There were things that I didn't know, and we've known each other for a few years. Yeah. So thank you for sharing all of that. Thank you for the honesty. I really, really think this is going to help people who are trying to kind of maybe enter the creative world in that capacity. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Veena. Honestly, this was...
So now, have you seen what this is?
I have the pearls of wisdom.
Oh, yes, you know what they are. So you pick a pearl and you give us your pearl of wisdom on the topic. Ready? There you go.
Aye.
Hope the writing's okay.
Marriage.
Please don't be marriage, he said.
This is fear.
Okay.
So I think one of the biggest fears is the unknown. And I think one thing you should always know when you take a decision or scared to take a decision is that known is a drop and the unknown is an ocean. So we are always going to have some kind of form of fear. Just take the step, learn from the step, and move on. That's the only way you get across that ocean. So that is my pearl of wisdom for fear.
I think I couldn't have put it better myself. I think that was brilliant. A career in politics, if anyone is interested, please write into us. No, but that's true, isn't it? And it's inevitable.
Yeah.
And a lot of our dialogue today has been around understanding your self-awareness to then come to terms with why, asking a lot of whys. Why does that bother you? Why are you scared of something? Why are you not confident? So really insightful. Thank you, Krish.
This was a lot of fun. I thought it was going to be. So thank you for this.
So right at the end, before we close, and tell everyone where they can find you, and let the guests ask me one question if you want to, if there's anything you want to ask me.
Okay. So you can find me. Oh, I find so good doing this.
Oh no, I'll tell them afterwards.
Okay, thanks. You can find me on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, all that sort of stuff. Krrish Siva. If you don't want to find me, you don't want to find me. Good. Question for you, Veena. Ooh.
You don't have to.
I really wanted to answer. If you put me under pressure, I need to put it under pressure. This is going to be too wide of a question.
It's okay.
Okay. Medicine or dance? Guys.
No, you can't. We've talked about this for years. You can't do that.
I know.
I mean, I feel like there's a science to dance and there's an art to medicine, and I've always said that.
Very diplomatic.
But it's true.
No, it's true.
I think, exactly like you, I enjoyed dance so much because it was an outlet from medicine. And now it's opened up doors for me to do things for medicine, for public health and global health in ways I could have never imagined. But that's because of the platform I built through dance.
Yeah.
So I feel like they've helped me become who I am. And like we talked about our South Asian community, they've accepted me for who I am. They're not trying to make me choose one. They've just accepted she's going to dance one day, she's going to talk about politics the other, and she's going to interview people, and it's fine. So I actually owe both of them a lot of things to help me make me who I am today.
Nice, well answered. This is why she's running this podcast.
No, I hope that answered. Krrish, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Guys, if you enjoyed this episode or want to get in touch with either of us, I'll leave all his contacts below, his TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, email address. Feel free to write to him either personally or write to either of us, especially about some of the sensitive topics he may have talked about. It may not always be easy to reach out about these things, about body positivity and anxiety and peer pressure, but I think it really helps when you have someone open to talk to you about this. So please do reach out. Leave us your comments below and feedback of how you found this episode. And Krrish, I'm so grateful to have you here. Thank you so much.
You.
Yay!
There we go.